You've got 7 seconds. That's it. That's the time it takes for someone to decide how they feel about your space. So why waste it? Some entryways leave a lasting impression. Others, totally forgettable. Or worse, uninviting. So what's the difference? I bet you it's pattern. Welcome to Pattern Theory, where we decode the science, emotion, and strategy behind mixing patterns with purpose. Today, we're stepping into the entryway, an often forgot about small space in your home, but psychologically, it's actually one of the most important rooms in your entire home. And if you're thinking, hey, I don't even have an entryway, hang tight. I have some solutions for you at the end of this video. The psychology of the entryway. Your entryway is your home's first impression. And just like when you meet someone new, it speaks volumes before anyone says a word. From a psychological perspective, first impressions aren't just social, they're also spatial. Research in environmental psychology shows us that we form an opinion within the first 7 seconds of entering a room or meeting someone new. That response is shaped by a mix of factors: visual cues, lighting, layout, materials, and yes, pattern. These snap judgments happen in your limbic brain. This is the area that's responsible for memory, emotions, and survival instincts. So the second you or your guests walk through the door, your body is already asking 3 questions. Do I feel safe here? Is this space welcoming or overwhelming? Can I relax or do I need to remain on guard? So in design terms, your entryway isn't just a functional pass-through, it's actually a priming space, a mood setter for the rest of your home. A well-designed entry can lower cortisol levels by offering clear structure, visual harmony, and emotional cues that say, you're home, you can relax now. This may look different for everyone, and that is okay. Design what makes you feel good and what makes you feel home when you enter your space. And patterns play a unique role in this. Humans are naturally drawn to pattern, rhythm, and repetition. When we see a familiar motif repeated, say a geometric pattern echoed in a runner and on the wallpaper, our brains experience a moment of cognitive ease. That ease translates into emotional comfort. It's subtle, but very powerful. Even color and texture can carry psychological weight. Warm tones and soft tactile patterns evoke belonging and security. Cool, clean patterns can feel elevated and restorative. Organic shapes create fluidity and softness, while structured lines bring order and control. The entryway is the first page in your home's story, and pattern, it's your tone of voice. So now that we understand the psychological weight of this space, let's dive into some design principles that help bring it all together. Starting with the need to claim space, then creating order, and finally how design guides behavior. Pattern Theory 101 in the entryway. Let's explore 3 design psychology principles that shape how we experience this space and how pattern plays into those. Territoriality theory, claiming your space. At its core, your entryway is a transition space from public to private, from chaos to calm. According to territoriality theory, we have an instinct need to claim space and organize. It helps us give a sense of ownership and safety within our homes. That's why thoughtful design choices that show your style and personality really matter in your entryway. A tray for keys, a hook for your bag, a bench where you pause, exhale, and take off the day. Now enter pattern. Patterns can act as territorial markers, like a doormat at a threshold or a runner that defines a space. A bold pattern tile, for example, can draw a clear line between the outside world and your personal sanctuary. Block prints, organic forms, or directional motifs can also point you inward, offering a sense of arrival and orientation as you step inside. Think of pattern as a visual handshake. It's the first gesture that your space makes, so make sure it's intentional. Once you've established a sense of place, now you need to establish some clarity. Our brains are hardwired to find order, and Gestalt's principles show us how. Using the principle of proximity, like grouping similar items, and similarly repeating shapes, forms, or colors, we can reduce visual clutter and bring rhythm to even the smallest of spaces. And pattern can help support this harmony. A striped wallpaper is echoed in the linear laying of a wood floor. Even texture-based patterns like woven baskets or other natural materials offer a quiet repetition that the brain can latch onto. The key here is that patterns aren't just visual. It's a tool for orientation. When your eye can follow a path of familiar shapes or textures, your brain relaxes. There's no effort, there's no overwhelm. When design feels seamless, it feels safe. And that is why rhythm and repetition matter, especially in small, functional spaces. Affordance theory. Design that guides. Good design doesn't just look good, it also tells us what to do. Affordance theory, developed by psychologist James Gibson, explains how psychological cues invite specific behaviors without needing written instructions. In the entryway, these cues are key. Bench signals pause here. Bowl offers place your keys. Mirror suggests take that one last look. Now again, let's layer in pattern. Patterns give these objects personality, purpose, and presence. A bench cushion in a soft stripe invites use while adding structure and polish. A graphic tray signals containment and contrast on a wood console. Even a tiled entryway or a patterned wallpaper backdrop becomes a gentle directive, guiding movement, defining zones, and sparking an emotional response. Patterns can also reinforce behavior, like vertical lines pulling your gaze upwards towards storage, or a floral motif softening the tone of a more angular, utility-driven setup. Your entryway is like choreography. The right patterns and placement can cue movement and mood without a single word. Foolproof pattern combos for emotion. In my last episode, I talked a lot about asking yourself how you want your space to feel when you're designing. So how do you want your entryway to greet you when you arrive home? I've also created a few emotional pattern design guides if you'd like to grab those. They're totally free and they're linked in the comments below. Warm and welcoming. Earthy florals paired with stripes. Organic lines feel personal and friendly, while repetition adds structure without stiffness. Grounded and calm. Try tone-on-tone geometrics, like a soft sage green wall panel with a black and white Moroccan-style tiled floor. Or you can go a bit sunnier with a yellow geometric balanced with a subtle stripe on the floor. Elevated and energized. Pair a bold coat rack with a crisp black and white art. This contrast immediately commands attention and gives that I've arrived somewhere with intention feeling. So remember, patterns aren't just design, they're actual emotional cues. And when chosen with care, they help you establish the feeling that you want and you want your guests to have when entering your space. Now, as promised, what if you don't have an entryway? Even if your home opens straight into a living room or a kitchen, you can still create the same feeling of the entryway using these principles. Here's some examples. Open up a closet or highlight it with a patterned wallpaper, or just wallpaper the wall behind your door to signal a drop zone. Add some hooks, a shelf, or a mirror to signal function. And finally, apply pattern as a boundary, a visual room within a room. A runner really works great for this if you don't want to put anything on your walls. You can also use a perfectly placed piece of furniture as well to create a zone. Your entryway isn't just where you walk in, it's where your home begins to tell its story. If you found this helpful, I'd love to have you stick around. So hit that like and subscribe button so you know when my next video is posted. If you want more advice or you want to have something you can tangibly use to design your space, I've created about 3 free guides linked in the comments below. So feel free to go download those so you can have something tangible when you're designing your space or out shopping. They're designed to help you layer with purpose in every space in your home. Remember, love your space, fill it with joy, and make it yours. I'll see you guys in the next one.